Ladies and gentlemen, we're gathered to talk about something deeply personal, deeply powerful, and for many, deeply challenging: how to stay sober. Sobriety is not just the absence of alcohol or drugs. It's the presence of purpose. It's the commitment to clarity, to health, and to living a life that is real, awake, and fully present. Staying sober is a journey, one that requires courage, support, and honesty every single day. Sobriety is a journey, not a destination. It is not a box to be checked, a finish line to cross, or a one-time achievement to be celebrated and forgotten. Instead, it is a continuous process of growth, healing, and transformation. Choosing sobriety is one decision, but staying sober is a lifelong commitment that unfolds day by day, sometimes hour by hour. It requires effort, patience, and self-compassion. Because the road isn't always straight, and progress isn't always visible from the outside. When someone makes the decision to get sober, it's often because they've reached a breaking point. Maybe they've experienced loss, trauma, or shame. Maybe their health, relationships, or sense of self has suffered. That first moment of clarity, the realization that something has to change, is powerful, but it's just the beginning. What follows is a series of choices, each one building on the last. Recovery is not just about stopping a behavior, it's about learning how to live again without relying on substances to escape, to cope, or to feel whole. Along the journey, people often discover parts of themselves that they had forgotten or suppressed. They may rediscover passions, form deeper relationships, and build a life rooted in authenticity. But they also face their demons. Sobriety brings clarity, and with it comes the resurfacing of emotions, grief, guilt, anger, fear that substances may have been numbing. This is why staying sober is such a courageous act. It means facing life in its raw, unfiltered form and learning how to navigate it with honesty and resilience. There are good days on the journey, days when the decision to stay sober feels natural, empowering, and even joyful. On those days, a person might feel deeply connected to their purpose and proud of how far they've come. But there are also hard days, days filled with temptation, self-doubt, or emotional exhaustion. These moments are part of the process, not a sign of failure. The strength of sobriety lies in the willingness to keep going, to ask for help, and to remind oneself why the journey began in the first place. Community plays a vital role in this ongoing process, whether it's through support groups, therapy, family, or friends. Having people who understand and support your path makes the journey less isolating. Sharing experiences, victories, and even setbacks can be healing. It reinforces the idea that sobriety is not a solo mission, but a shared human endeavor. Everyone on the journey, no matter where they are, is walking a path toward a better version of themselves. Another important aspect of the journey is self-forgiveness. Many people carry shame from their past, actions they regret, time they feel they lost, relationships they may have damaged. Sobriety gives them the opportunity to make amends, not just with others, but with themselves. Healing doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual. It comes through consistency, accountability, and compassion. Each day sober is a step forward, even when it doesn't feel like one. Ultimately, sobriety is not about reaching a perfect state where all struggles disappear. It's about progress, not perfection. The journey continues as life changes, as new challenges arise, and as personal growth deepens. With time, what once felt impossible can become the new normal. A life lived with clarity, purpose, and freedom. To stay sober is to stay committed to that journey, and in doing so, a person creates a life of integrity, strength, and hope, one step at a time. Building a strong support system is one of the most important aspects of staying sober. No one achieves lasting recovery alone. While the decision to get sober is deeply personal, the ability to maintain that decision often depends on the people around you. Support can come in many forms: family, friends, therapists, sponsors, support groups, or even online communities. What matters most is that the people in your life understand, respect, and encourage your commitment to sobriety. When someone enters recovery, they are often leaving behind not just substances, but also environments, habits, and even relationships that contributed to their addiction. This transition can feel isolating. That's why surrounding yourself with people who support your sobriety is essential. These individuals provide encouragement during hard times, celebrate your progress, and remind you of your strength when you start to doubt yourself. More importantly, they hold you accountable, not in a way that judges, but in a way that genuinely cares about your well-being. Family members can be an important part of your support system, especially when they are educated about addiction and recovery. However, family dynamics can be complex. In some cases, relationships need to be rebuilt or redefined. Open communication, honesty, and sometimes professional guidance can help repair those bonds. When family is supportive and understanding, they can offer a sense of belonging and unconditional love that makes the journey more manageable. Friends also play a major role. One of the challenges of early sobriety is recognizing which friendships are healthy and which are harmful. Some friends may have been part of your past lifestyle, whether they were using with you, enabling you, or simply unaware of the harm being done. Letting go of those relationships can be difficult, but it's necessary to protect your recovery. At the same time, forming new friendships with people who share your goals and values can be incredibly uplifting. These are the friends who will cheer for your milestones and offer support when you're struggling. Recovery groups such as Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, or other community-based programs offer a different kind of support. They connect you with people who have walked the same path and understand the unique challenges of addiction. These spaces are often where people find sponsors, individuals who are further along in their recovery and can offer mentorship, guidance, and hope. The power of peer support lies in shared experience. Knowing you're not alone in your struggles reduces shame and builds strength. Professional support is another critical layer. Therapists, counselors, or recovery coaches can help you navigate emotional wounds, mental health issues, and daily challenges. They provide a safe and structured environment to explore the underlying causes of addiction and build tools to manage life in sobriety. For many, this professional guidance creates a strong foundation that complements the support received from peers and loved ones. It's also important to remember that a support system is not just about people who help when things go wrong. It's also about people who celebrate with you when things go right. Positive reinforcement, shared joy, and encouragement are powerful motivators. Being supported isn't about dependency, it's about connection. It's about having people who remind you of your worth and your potential when you forget. Building a strong support system takes time, and it often involves trial and error. Not every relationship will be right for your recovery, and that's okay. What matters is being intentional about who you let into your life and ensuring that those people uplift, inspire, and strengthen you. Sobriety can be hard, but with the right support, it becomes not just possible. Together with a solid network behind you, staying sober transforms from a daily struggle into a daily choice grounded in community, care, and love. Identifying and managing your triggers is a crucial part of maintaining long-term sobriety. Triggers are people, places, emotions, or situations that increase the urge to use substances. They can be obvious, like walking past a bar you used to frequent, or subtle, like experiencing stress after a difficult conversation. Recognizing your personal triggers allows you to prepare for them and respond in healthier ways. Without that awareness, it becomes much easier to fall back into old patterns and relapse. Every person's triggers are different. For some, it might be social events where alcohol is present. For others, it might be loneliness, anxiety, or even boredom. The first step in managing triggers is identifying them. This involves honest self-reflection and at times uncomfortable truth-telling. It's about asking yourself, what situations in the past made me want to use? Or what do I tend to feel just before I relapse? or crave a drink. Writing these things down, keeping a journal, or working with a counselor can help bring these patterns to light. There are generally two types of triggers: external and internal. External triggers are things outside of you, places you used to drink or use, people who enabled your addiction, parties, or certain social settings. These are often easier to identify and avoid, especially in early recovery. Internal triggers, on the other hand, are emotional or psychological. These might include feelings of shame, anger, stress, anxiety, or even excitement sometimes. Feeling too good can be just as triggering as feeling too bad, because it can create a sense of invincibility or recklessness. Once you've identified your triggers, the next step is to manage them. This doesn't always mean avoiding them completely, although in early recovery that may be necessary. Managing triggers is about creating a plan. If you know that being around certain people makes you want to use, limit your contact or avoid them entirely. If attending a party is unavoidable, bring a sober friend with you, set a time limit for how long you'll stay, and have an exit plan if things become uncomfortable. Learning coping skills is a key part of managing emotional triggers. When stress or sadness arises, rather than turning to substances, find other ways to respond. This might include deep breathing, going for a walk, calling a trusted friend, exercising, or writing in a journal. Therapy or support groups can help you develop a toolkit of responses that work specifically for you. The goal isn't to suppress your feelings, but to handle them in a way that doesn't lead to self-destruction. It's also important to remember that some triggers can be unpredictable. You might be caught off guard by a song, a smell, a memory, or even a piece of good news. These moments can create intense cravings, but they don't have to lead to relapse. Having a plan in place, knowing who to call, where to go, or what to do when a craving hits can make all the difference. Over time, managing triggers becomes easier. What once felt overwhelming can become manageable, and what used to control you can lose its power. This doesn't mean you'll never feel triggered again, but you'll become stronger, more self-awareness, and better equipped to handle. Triggers are not signs of weakness. They are opportunities to understand yourself more deeply. By identifying and managing them, you take control of your recovery instead of letting your environment or emotions control you. The more you know about your triggers, the more empowered you become in your sobriety. And in that awareness lies the strength to stay sober one day at a time. Replacing addiction with healthy coping mechanisms is a vital step in the recovery process. Addiction often becomes a way to deal with emotional pain, stress, trauma, or discomfort. Substances can provide temporary relief or escape, but they never address the root of the issue. Once someone begins the journey of sobriety, it's not just about removing drugs or alcohol. It's about learning how to live without them. That means finding new, healthier ways to handle life's inevitable challenges. When you stop using substances, you don't stop feeling. In fact, many emotions that were suppressed during addiction begin to rise to the surface. Anger, sadness, anxiety, guilt, and even joy can feel overwhelming when you're no longer numbing them. This is why developing healthy coping mechanisms is not optional. It's essential. You need tools that help you stay grounded, manage your emotions, and navigate life with clarity and intention. One of the most effective healthy coping mechanisms is physical activity. Exercise has been shown to reduce stress, improve mood, and increase self-esteem. It doesn't have to be intense. Going for a walk, doing yoga, or even dancing at home can make a big difference. Movement helps release endorphins, which are the body's natural mood enhancers. Over time, physical activity can become a positive habit that replaces the destructive cycles of addiction. Another powerful tool is mindfulness and meditation. Learning to sit with your thoughts and observe your emotions without judgment can be incredibly healing. Meditation teaches you how to be present, to breathe through discomfort, and to respond to stress instead of reacting impulsively. Mindfulness can be practiced formally through guided meditations or informally by simply paying attention to your surroundings, your breath, or your actions. Creative outlets also provide healthy ways to cope. Art, music, writing, photography, or crafting can help express emotions that are difficult to put into words. These activities can also offer a sense of accomplishment and joy, reminding you that you are capable of creating, not just surviving. Creativity reconnects you with your sense of identity and purpose, two things that addiction often strips away. Building a routine is another key strategy. Addiction thrives in chaos, while recovery thrives in structure. Having a daily schedule helps you stay focused and reduces idle time that can lead to cravings or negative thinking. A healthy routine might include regular meals, sleep, work, or volunteer activities, social time, exercise, and moments for reflection or relaxation. Structure brings stability, and stability supports sobriety. Connecting with others is also crucial. Isolation can be dangerous, especially in recovery. Human connection reminds you that you're not alone. Whether through support groups, therapy, or friendships, being able to talk openly about your struggles and receive encouragement can help you stay on track. Healthy relationships are a source of strength, and spending time with people who support your goals reinforces your commitment to change. Spiritual practices can also offer comfort and guidance. This doesn't necessarily mean religion, though for some, faith is an important part of their recovery. It can also mean spending time in nature, journaling, practicing gratitude, or engaging in acts of kindness. These practices help you feel connected to something bigger than yourself and offer perspective during difficult moments. Replacing addiction with healthy coping mechanisms doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, patience, and experimentation. What works for one person may not work for another, so it's important to explore and find what feels right for you. The more you practice these new skills, the more natural they become. Eventually, they replace the old habits that once defined your life. Recovery is not about being perfect. It's about being committed. Each time you choose a healthy way to cope, you're reinforcing a new way of living, one that is based on resilience, self-awareness, and genuine healing. And that, more than anything, is the heart of staying sober. Creating structure and routine is a fundamental part of staying sober and building a healthy, stable life in recovery. Addiction often brings chaos. Schedules are unpredictable, priorities shift based on cravings, and daily life can become disorganized or completely unmanageable. And it's a shame that some people find it easier to cope with a schedule or a problem than to recognize a natural function that is highly unmanageable. Without routine, each day can feel overwhelming, directionless, and vulnerable to relapse. Establishing a daily structure helps bring order, stability, and a sense of control, which are essential for maintaining long-term sobriety. When someone begins recovery, they are essentially rebuilding their life. A big part of that rebuilding process is developing a routine that supports their physical, mental, and emotional health. This routine doesn't need to be rigid or overly complicated. In fact, simplicity and consistency are key. The goal is to create a lifestyle that reduces stress, minimizes uncertainty, and provides a solid foundation for making healthy choices. One of the first areas to focus on is sleep. During addiction, sleep patterns are often severely disrupted. Restoring a consistent sleep schedule is one of the most powerful ways to support mental clarity, emotional regulation, and physical recovery. Going to bed and waking up at the same time each day trains the body and mind to function at their best. Adequate rest also helps manage cravings and reduce irritability, which are common in early recovery. Another cornerstone of a healthy routine is nutrition. A well-balanced diet can repair damage caused by substance use, improve energy levels, and stabilize mood. Scheduling regular meals throughout the day can also help avoid emotional eating or using hunger as a disguised trigger for cravings. Taking time to plan and prepare meals can become a healthy habit that brings both structure and satisfaction. Exercise is another important component. Incorporating physical activity into your routine doesn't just improve your physical health, it also boosts mental well-being. Exercise releases endorphins, reduces stress, and helps improve self-position. Whether it's a daily walk, a gym session, or practicing yoga, making time for movement provides both structure and a natural way to cope with emotional stress. In addition to basic self-care, it's important to schedule time for activities that support your recovery directly. This might include attending support group meetings, therapy sessions, or check-ins with a sponsor. Making these a regular part of your schedule reinforces your commitment and ensures that you stay connected to your recovery community. These appointments become anchors in your week, reminders that your sobriety is a priority. A strong routine also includes meaningful use of free time. Boredom is a common relapse trigger, so filling your day with purposeful activities is key. This could involve hobbies, volunteering, creative projects, or learning new skills. Recovery is a chance to rediscover passions that may have been lost to addiction, or to explore new interests that give life more depth and direction. Setting goals, even small ones, can also bring structure to your life. These goals could be as simple as reading for 20 minutes a day, journaling every morning, or saving a certain amount of money each week. Working toward goals creates a sense of purpose and progress, which are incredibly motivating in recovery. A routine helps you become more self-awareness. By keeping track of your activities, moods, and energy levels, you can start to identify patterns. What makes you feel better or worse? What times of day you feel strongest or most vulnerable? This awareness allows you to make informed adjustments to better support your sobriety. Creating structure and routine is not about perfection. It's about creating a supportive framework for your life. It gives each day a beginning, a middle, and an end, and provides a rhythm that helps you stay grounded. In the long run, this daily consistency becomes a form of self-respect, a way of showing up for yourself, and a powerful tool for staying sober. In the journey of sobriety, embracing the idea of progress over perfection is essential. Many people entering recovery have a strong desire to fix everything at once, to undo past mistakes, heal all wounds, and become the best version of themselves immediately. While this ambition can be inspiring, it can also be overwhelming and unrealistic. The truth is, recovery is not a straight path, and expecting perfection can lead to disappointment, shame, and even relapse. Focusing on progress allows for growth, self-compassion, and resilience in the face of challenges. Perfectionism is often rooted in fear, the fear of failure, of judgment, or of not being good enough. In the context of addiction recovery, it can manifest as setting impossibly high standards and feeling like anything less than complete success is a failure. This kind of thinking is dangerous because it ignores the fact that sobriety is a process. Every day sober is a victory, even if the day wasn't perfect. The most important thing is that you're moving forward, however slowly that may be. Progress means learning from your experiences and using them to improve. It's about recognizing that setbacks are not the end of the road, but part of the process. If you have a difficult day, experience a craving, or even relapse, that doesn't mean you failed. What matters most is what you do next. Do you get back up? Do you seek support? Do you reflect and recommit to your goals? These are the true markers of growth and determination. When you let go of the need to be perfect, you allow yourself the space to be human. You start to accept that making mistakes is not only inevitable, but also valuable. Mistakes teach you more about yourself, your triggers, your needs, and your strengths. They give you insight into what's working and what needs to change. This kind of awareness is powerful because it leads to better choices over time. Measuring progress also helps you celebrate your achievements, big or small. Maybe you made it through a stressful situation without using. Maybe you opened up in a support group for the first time. Maybe you simply got out of bed on a hard day and chose to keep going. These moments matter. When you stop chasing perfection and start appreciating progress, you begin to see how far you've come, even if the road has been rough. Progress over perfection also builds self-esteem. Perfectionism often brings constant self-criticism, But progress encourages self-acknowledgement. You start to see yourself not as someone who is broken or failing, but as someone who is growing and evolving. This shift in mindset makes recovery more sustainable because it's based on encouragement, not punishment. It's also important to remember that healing takes time. The damage caused by addiction, whether physical, emotional, or relational, didn't happen overnight, and it won't be repaired overnight either. Rebuilding trust, repairing relationships, and creating a new life take patience and persistence. When you focus on progress, you're more likely to stay committed for the long haul because you're not expecting instant results. Surrounding yourself with people who value progress over perfection can reinforce this mindset. Supportive friends, therapists, and recovery groups can remind you that growth isn't about being flawless. It's about being honest, staying committed, and never giving up on yourself. These people can celebrate your victories and encourage you through your struggles, helping you keep a balanced perspective. In the end, choosing progress over perfection is an act of kindness toward yourself. It's a reminder that you are enough just as you are, and that every step you take toward a better life counts. Sobriety is not about being perfect. It's about showing up, doing your best, and continuing to move forward, one day at a time. Sobriety is often misunderstood as a life of restriction, where a person gives up something enjoyable and is left with less. This perception paints a limited and negative picture of what sobriety really is. In truth, sobriety is not about deprivation, it is about empowerment. Choosing to live free from drugs or alcohol is not a sign of weakness or loss, but a powerful declaration of self-respect, self-awareness, and the desire for a better life. It is a bold step toward clarity, freedom, and authenticity. When someone is in active addiction, substances often take control of their decisions, behaviors, and relationships. What begins as a way to escape or feel better can quickly become a trap. The substance starts making choices for them: where they go, who they spend time with, how they feel, and what they prioritize. In this state, freedom is an illusion. True empowerment cannot exist where dependency rules. Sobriety, on the other hand, is the process of taking that control back. Living sober allows a person to reconnect with their true self. Without the haze of substances, you can experience emotions more deeply and honestly. While that might be difficult at first, especially when facing pain, regret, or anxiety, it also means being able to feel joy, peace, and pride in their purest forms. This emotional honesty builds strength because it encourages resilience and growth. You no longer run from your feelings. You face them, work through them, and move forward. That is the essence of empowerment. Sobriety also empowers decision-making. When your mind is clear, you are more capable of making choices that align with your values and goals. You start to notice what truly matters to you: your health, your family, your passions, and your dreams. Instead of reacting impulsively or being driven by cravings, you can pause, think, and act with intention. This sense of agency is deeply fulfilling because it puts you back in the driver's seat of your life. Another powerful aspect of sobriety is the restoration of trust, both in yourself and from others. When you're sober, you begin to show up consistently for the people you love, and more importantly, for yourself. You follow through on your commitments, take responsibility for your actions, and begin to rebuild relationships that may have been damaged by addiction. This growing trust feeds confidence. Every promise kept and every obstacle overcome proves that you are capable, dependable, and strong. Sobriety also opens the door to new opportunities. Addiction narrows your world, often closing off possibilities for work, education, travel, or connection. Once you're sober, you can start to dream again and pursue goals that once seemed out of reach. You gain the mental, emotional, and physical energy to invest in things that bring lasting joy and fulfillment. Whether it's starting a career, nurturing a family, or exploring creative passions, sobriety expands what is possible in your life. Importantly, sobriety also fosters genuine connection. Many people use substances to feel more social, relaxed, or confident, but these effects are temporary and artificial. In sobriety, your connections with others are real and meaningful. You learn how to be present, to listen, and to express yourself without a chemical filter. You begin to attract people who value you for who you truly are, not who you are under the influence. Choosing sobriety doesn't mean choosing less. It means choosing more. More health, more peace, more clarity, more purpose, and more authenticity. It is not a punishment, but a gift you give yourself, a daily commitment to honor your potential and protect your future. Sobriety is not about missing out. It is about showing up fully, powerfully, and with the courage to live life on your own terms.